We've got a normal schedule in the NBA. Well, it's, I guess, a little bit more packed than normal. It's a Week 8 fantasy basketball preview. Get your streaming hat back on because we are back to normal. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and I am a registered pilot. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to enter Canadian airspace on my private jet because, you know, it's Canada. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Twitter as always, at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use the code all lowercase LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen or your first watch. Every day we are free and available on all platforms, and that brings us to Operation 70K. We're about 300 people away from hitting 70,000 subscribers on YouTube. So hit the subscribe button if you haven't done it. It would be an immense help. And I know people think, Josh, man, can you just not dig on Canada for once? This literally 100% true. I have been a Toronto Blue Jays fan for 30 years. I am a Toronto Blue Jays fan. I'm not a diehard fan, but I am a Blue Jays fan. And I am pissed, especially after all that flagrantly false reporting yesterday about Shohei Ohtani going to the Blue Jays and a press conference being announced. I am and have been a Blue Jays fan for years. Years. That is truth. I'm not having a go at you guys. I'm annoyed. It's annoying. It's annoying. Anyway, we are here to talk NBA. We are here to talk about the Week 8 schedule as we are back in business and get our stream heads ready. Unfortunately, starting the week, we don't get the opportunity to go too stream heavy because the NBA, after 2 days off, I don't know who's won the in-season tournament final. This is being recorded and released before that game is on. We will have shows tomorrow. We'll have a Monday look ahead and a waiver wire show tomorrow coming as well. The NBA is straight back into it. 13 games on Monday. Love it. Fantastic. Love just overloading stuff. 13 games. Get out of here. But the rest of the week is actually pretty sexy. We actually really enjoy the rest of this week. 5 games on Tuesday. That's nice. 9 games on Wednesday. Equally good. 7 on Thursday. Oh, man. It's heating up. 8 on Friday. What a perfect run of games. Saturday 10 is maybe pushing a little bit too far. But the other day, I was speaking about, why was everyone dropping Cam Reddish? You probably didn't have a roster spot to use. Should have held him for the Thursday semifinal. And I had a lot of people push back and go, Josh, what are you talking about? Like, with 10 games on, I actually had active roster spots around. So my cutoff has always been 9 games in terms of quality games. 9 or fewer is a quality game. 10 and above means it's hard to use the waiver wire. But I'm actually changing my opinion on that somewhat. I do think that still majority of people on a 10-game day won't have an active roster spot available, but apparently some do. So Saturday's got 10. And Sunday we're at 5 games. So that's at least 5 out of the final 6 days of the week are streamers. And maybe we can go all the way through 6 days. I know that when you've got 13 games on, you're not going to have an active roster spot unless your roster is so weirdly constructed that you're in a spot where that is, you're just full of the 4 teams that don't play, which I can't do much to help you in that situation. But we are looking at definitely streaming the rest of the week with Saturday an asterisk game. But a fantastic week. We can put our streaming knowledge to the test. It's going to be really interesting in Locked On Fantasy Basketball Bowl leagues this week because, of course, we've got the 40-game maximum. We didn't hit it last week. This week, we are going to smash it. So there's going to be a lot of decisions you need to make to keep yourself at that 40-game max for the week because this is an absolutely jam-packed schedule with probably, we haven't got any nonsense 2 games or 3 games or 4 games. We go between 5 and 13. It is honestly, for a fantasy basketball perspective, I would say the perfect week. We also have a million teams, and there's not a million because there's not that many teams in the NBA, but we have got nearly everybody playing 4 games. There's only 6 teams who play 3. That is it. 24 teams play 4. Haven't really seen a week that jam-packed with the top end in a while. So if you do play 3 this week, if your players play 3, and we'll talk about those teams in a second, but that is almost, not quite, but it's almost the equivalent of those guys having 2-game weeks because everybody else plays 4. Now, the difference between a 4-game week and a 2-game week is obviously much larger than between 4 and 3, but your 3-game teams, you do suffer quite a bit this week compared to the 4-gamers. It also is marginally important, decently enough important, of when the 4 games take place. So I'm not going to read through all of those 4-game teams, just that when we do the 3... screw it, let's do it. Hawks, Nets, Celtics, Hornets, Bulls, Cavs, Mavericks, Nuggets, Pistons, Warriors, Rockets, Pacers, Clippers, Heat, Bucks, Pelicans, Knicks, Sixers, Suns, Blazers, Kings, Spurs, Jazz, and Wizards. They all play 4 games this week. So that one is that. But more important is knowing who the 3-game teams are. So we've got the Lakers, the Grizzlies, the Wolves, the Thunder, the Magic, and the Raptors. But, again, volume of games is important. It's useful. It's more important when we're talking about weekly leagues or when we're talking about guys who have elevated into top 70 roles short-term due to injury. That becomes more important. When we're talking about fringe, when we're talking about waiver, when we're talking about streaming, when the games take place is as important, equally as important as how many games there are. That is one of the cardinal rules of weekly streaming. So let's talk about how that looks. Let's talk quality games. A quality game is a game that is played on a day where there are 9 NBA games or fewer. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Sunday this week. Not Monday, not Saturday. I just gave my Saturday reasoning before though. There are 2 teams that play all of their games on the low volume days. Boston and Phoenix. All 4 of their games are quality games because they do not play on Monday and they do not play on Saturday. The Lakers only have 3 games, one of 6 teams with 3 games. Doesn't look that good. But they're all on quality game days. The Lakers go Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. The problem there is, which is good and also bad, is that because they're playing in-season tournament final, NBA Cup game on Sunday, then coming back from the game on Saturday with a back-to-back Tuesday, Wednesday, could LeBron and Davis sit one of those games, especially considering they play Dallas on Tuesday and then it's Spurs? I would think so. I would think that Davis and LeBron, after going so hard for this tournament, regardless of the result, they will play 2 games next week is my guess. But what that does mean is that your Lakers streams, your value of Reeves and Russell, but your streams of an Hachimura, if you're streaming in a Reddish, if you stream in a Prince, they're going to have an opportunity, I'm guessing on Wednesday, of having bigger balls, bigger performances. So they've got 3 games. Looks bad. All of them are quality games. So that is better than a large swathe of the 4-game teams. There is a massive chunk of 4-game teams that play 2 quality games. So the Lakers are already better there. Plus, the expectation from me is that LeBron and or Davis will sit on Wednesday, bumping usage, bumping minutes for a lot of those streamable players. So it's not always as simple as it is on the surface. It's not 4 games good, 3 games bad. Shout out to George Orwell. It's about where it fits and how you can manipulate it. On the bad side, the Wolves and the Thunder only have 1 quality game. So they play 3 games for the week. The Lakers play 3 quality games. The Wolves and the Thunder, 1. So your Troy Browns or Alexander Walkers or Kyle Andersons or Isaiah Joes or honestly, Josh Giddey's, they're not useful this week. You might use them once. Maybe you get them twice because of the Saturday 10 games, and whether that fits you or not, I don't know. But it's a bad schedule for them. These teams, the Warriors, the Rockets, the Pelicans, the Spurs, the Wizards, and the Lakers, mentioned the Lakers already, they all have 3 quality games. So we've got Boston and Phoenix with 4, Minnesota and OKC with 1, and then Golden State, Houston, New Orleans, San Antonio, Washington, and Los Angeles Lakers have 3. Everybody else has 2. So many teams that play 4 games this week only get 2 quality games. The difference between that versus an Al Horford versus an Eric Gordon who plays 4 for the week is very big. And that's where we get into that, what's the difference between 4 and 2? It is double. So a stream guy like I'll just use this guy's name because maybe he's going to be my new future MVP, Jaime Jaquez, right? You've only got 2 quality games from him this week. versus 4 of an Al Horford versus 4. Let me say, actually, no, 3 of Al Horford because the Celtics have a back-to-back. 4 of Slam and Sammy Hauser, 4 of Eric Gordon, 4 of Grayson Allen, who we assume plays. That's not as important. It's not as useful. Same with Josh Richardson or Kevin Love or bloody Duncan Robinson because Hero might be back. Who knows? So that is where that sits. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. It is also the easiest and the most exciting way to play DFS. It is you v numbers, a heavyweight knockout battle. They put up a player projection and you just say more or less. Click your mouse with ferocity and choose which side you want to be on. You do between 2 to 6 of those individual player projection more or lesses, chuck them into an entry, and you can win up to 25 times that money back. Whatever sport it is, but we're talking basketball here, so you're going to be wanting to be in on basketball. Maybe they throw up a Dante Exum player projection. And they say Dante Exum more or less than 8.5 points. And you go, I think we're on here because there's a lot of guys out for Dallas, so maybe we'll go more. Combine them all together, and you could turn $10 into $250 just like that. So go to PrizePicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Use the code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. That is PrizePicks.com/LockedOnNBA. The promo code is LockedOnNBA, and you get a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. Okay, we'll get into the rest of the schedule, but again, we're just hitting the 70K, Operation 70K reminders. Hit the subscribe button. Click, get it ready for us. Hit the thumbs up as well. Get it out to more people. We want to hit it. Are we going to hit it before Christmas? I hope so. That is the aim. So we'll do that hopefully soon. Maybe we'll do it at the end of the show. We can dream, I guess. Let's look at the Stream Zone. The Stream Zone sounds like it should be something at a water park where there is all those water cannons, or at an adult play center. Either one of those two things, I'm not sure. But what we're looking at here is where we attack the streaming with the understanding that we're not streaming Monday with 13 games on, and we're probably not doing it on Saturday, although we might. So what we need to do to maximize what we always wanted to do, how do we get more games in for fewer ads? So you always got emergency ads for a big situation that arises, a trade, an injury that opens up value. Some other dickhead in your league drops a good player where you can add them and you have that value long-term irrespective of schedule. So we want to maximize games played while also saving moves to be able to take advantage of other situations. That's the idea. We could use our 4 waiver ads for the week on streaming, and sometimes we do that, especially when we head towards the end of the season. But in this early part, let's maximize what we do. Let's get more games in and then use another spot or another waiver for other things. So we attack Lakers and Phoenix because they play the Tuesday, Wednesday back-to-back. That's where we start off. Again, with that expectation, or let's say 50% chance that LeBron and AD don't play Wednesday or don't play Tuesday. I would say don't play Wednesday, though, against the Spurs. So you look at Gordon, Allen. If you're desperate, you look at Okogie. You're not that desperate. But you look at Reddish. You look at Hachimura. You look at Vanderbilt, and you get the Tuesday, Wednesdays in for those guys. Although Vanderbilt may not play the Wednesday because of his return from injury. But you got a little bit of value there. Then you can drop those guys and you can attack the Celtics Thursday, Friday. The problem here is Al Horford will sit one of these games. But Slam and Sammy Hauser, yeah, let's go. Maybe we look at Luke Cornett to get some backup value on one of those days. The Celtics are not an ideal stream team, though, because they just don't play a deep rotation. Maybe we get 10 Delano Banton minutes. That's pretty disgusting, but we might. But ideally, we're looking at Eric Gordon, Grayson Allen turned into Sam Hauser. 2 ads, 4 games. And they are not the sexiest names. But let's say Hauser plays 20 and 25 minutes. Let's say he hits 8 threes and has 20 points across those 2 games. Does that add up? Yeah. Oh, no, it doesn't. Let's say he has 24 points and 8 threes across 2 games. It's always worth remembering. This guy might be bad. He might be subpar. But when you combine them with 2 games with 1 waiver ad, it's just like getting one. What player are you adding that you're going to go, I'll probably get 24 points and 8 threes out of one guy? Shout out Isaiah Joe. Like, who are you going to get off the waiver wire that does that? Eric Gordon, is he good? No, but he might have 36 points with 8 rebounds and 8 assists in 2 games. And you use 1 waiver ad on it. No one, like Luka Doncic, doesn't sit on your waiver wire that can do that. So once you've done that, you've gone Lakers, Phoenix, and you go Boston. You just grab whoever you want on Saturday. Well, I said Saturday here. That was meant to say Sunday. Apologies on that graphic. But if you do have the ability to have someone in your lineup on Saturday, Bet that maybe Saturday, Sunday grab. You've got the Warriors, the Bucks, and the Blazers that go Saturday, Sunday. So you could look at the Bucket, John Kuminga. You could look at Pajemski. You maybe look at Moses Moody. You look at Šarić. The Bucks guys, it's a little iffy. Maybe Leaky Beasley's been dropped. Maybe Bobby Portis is there. Portland, who knows, mate. Kamara, Thibault, Scoot, if he'd been dropped, which he could have been by now. There are some opportunities. It is a very good stream week, but you've got to be ahead of the game. You've got to be ready to go. And if you wanted to do it, you do it now. Because Monday with 13 games on, get your hands on some of these Lakers guys. Get your hands on my Lakers guys. Grab them and see how you go. And hold them through Monday. Get the stream going. And then get your Slam and Sammy going on the Celtics Thursday, Friday. Schedule quirks. Everything is pretty good, except the Magic have a weird schedule. They play Monday, and they don't have another quality game until Friday. What does that mean? It means that your fringe Magic players... Maybe you tried Gary Harris because Jalen Suggs is out. Maybe you decided to go with Anthony Black. I don't know why you would. But a Goga Badadze or a flaming Mo Wagner, they're not going to be worth holding. Will you start those guys on Monday with 13 games on? Almost definitely not. And then you sacrifice a roster spot on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, waiting for a Friday game. And honestly, Carter and Fultz might actually play on Friday. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Or Suggs, I don't know. But they've got a 3-game break in the middle of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, where they don't play. So their first quality game comes Friday. That's a waste. The Lakers, the Grizzlies, and the Raptors don't play on the weekend either. So if you've got fringe guys from those teams, after we attack the Lakers early in the week, then you drop them towards the end of the week. And the Grizzlies, honestly, who knows? Roddy, Aldama, Rose, any of the Williamses. It's hard to hold on to those guys, but given an opportunity to drop them to open up something on a weekend, that opportunity is going to be there. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. As the weather gets colder, the offers at FanDuel, they turn it up to 11. That gas is absolutely cooking on those offers at FanDuel. That will keep you warm and toasty. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. So if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. The app, it is so easy to use. You can go in there and have a look at the in-season tournament. Lakers or Pacers? I'm sticking with the Pacers. I've been wrong on most of these picks through the tournament, but I'm sticking with the Pacers. Big upset, Halliburton MVP. You can go and have a look at that. They've got parlays, they've got over-unders, totals, spreads, sides, futures, whatever. Player props. It's all there over at FanDuel. So go to FanDuel.com/lockedon and get ready for the finale of the inaugural NBA in-season tournament, NBA Cup. FanDuel's also an official partner of the NFL, and don't forget to gamble responsibly. Okay, we are just getting ready to round this out. But again, another reminder, Operation 70K. Bang, we are ready to go. Let's hit it. Let's hit the subscribe. I'm going to bang this over your head until we hit 70, and then I'll ease off a bit on it. Because I don't normally do it. For some reason, I just want that 70. So let's give me the 70. All right, let's go to the 3s and 4s. Who plays 3 games in 4 nights? And unfortunately, from a real-life basketball viewing perspective, a lot of teams. Why is that unfortunate? Well, it means back-to-backs, which obviously decrease the level of play, increase the risk of injuries and players sitting out, and a 3 and 4 is a stinker. It's just really bad on fatigue and does reduce performance. And there's lots of them. So Monday through Thursday to begin the week, Brooklyn, Chicago, Cleveland, Dallas, Denver, the Clippers, the Heat, the Kings, the Jazz. A lot of teams play that. Remember, 13 teams play on Monday, so it's hard to get a more than one day stream going that includes Monday. But where we want to have a look at is the Tuesday, Friday. We already talked about the Lakers having that start to the week, and the Suns on the Tuesday, Wednesday. They play 3 and 4 Tuesday through Friday. The Celtics are also in there. They've got the Thursday, Friday combination in the back-to-back, so we know that. So whatever one of those guys you add, maybe you do just want to hold onto a Cam Reddish and get 3 games out of him, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Again, you could get 4 games out of that roster spot if you execute it correctly and get the right Boston guy. But Boston, the Lakers, and the Phoenix Suns have a 3 and 4 Tuesday, Friday. There's a lot that have 3 and 4 Wednesday through Saturday, with Saturday having 10 games on. We're talking Hawks, Nets, Hornets, Pistons, Pacers, Heat, Knicks, Sixers, Jazz. And you will see that the Jazz, the Heat, and the Hawks all have 2 sets of 3 games in 4 nights. It's pretty bad. It's a pretty bad run of things for those guys. So between Monday and Saturday, they've got 2 little 3 game in 4 night sets. Not good. And then to round things out, the Thursday, the end of the week, the Thursday through Sunday, it's Boston with the Thursday, Friday. And then it's Golden State and Portland who have got the weekend back-to-back. They play 3 games in 4 nights there as well to get you a little boost at the end of the week. No one plays 4 games in 5 nights. I don't think any team has played 4 games in 5 nights this season. I'm not even sure if any team does it all season, but we're going to check every week. 4 games in 6 nights is what we're looking at now. We start through Monday through Saturday. Hawks, Nets, Hornets, Bulls, Cavs, Mavericks, Nuggets, Pistons, Pacers, Clippers, Heat, Knicks, Sixers, Kings, and Jazz Monday through Saturday, meaning they're all 4-game teams, and then they don't play Sunday, so you can move on from them after Saturday if that's the way you want to go. Whereas the teams that don't play Monday, that have 4 games during the week, are Boston, the Warriors, and the Suns, and we've covered off Boston and Phoenix a lot, and the Warriors have the Saturday, Sunday back-to-back, so they do go 4 in 6 starting on Tuesday, which again should give you somewhat of an advantage to know that. Let's look at where the back-to-backs sit. There are quite a few Monday, Tuesday back-to-backs. You're probably not going to be able to utilize them because there are just so many games on Monday. But Chicago, Cleveland, Dallas, Denver, the Clippers, and the Kings have the Monday, Tuesday. This is where it gets interesting. We've already talked Tuesday, Wednesday, Lakers, Phoenix. Wednesday, Thursday is Brooklyn, Miami, and Utah. Ideally, in a stream situation, you're not attacking that one, but if you want to do it, there's a back-to-back there. Thursday, Friday is Boston, like we mentioned. Friday, Saturday, there's quite a bit. There's Atlanta, Charlotte, Detroit, Indiana, the Knicks, and the Sixers. And the weekend back-to-back is the Warriors, it is the Bucks, and it is the Portland Trailblazers. And if you don't want to include Saturday in there because there's 10 games on, if you want to do a Friday-Sunday combo, these are the teams that play the Friday-Sunday. It's Boston, it's Houston, it's the Pelicans, the Magic, the Suns, the Spurs, and the Wizards. That is how we round that out for the week. If we want to look at some guys, if you're in a weekly lock league, and this also does translate across to daily lock leagues as well, these guys all play 4 games and are worthy guys to look at just for their volume of games. Patrick Williams, Zach LaVine is out. Williams is playing better. He's going to be inconsistent, but he should be rostered. Keontae George, I know, has been iffy, but he does have 4 games. You might get, let's say, 30 assists. That's pretty interesting. He might shoot 30%. What's he going to be high this week? Keontae George's total assists or field goal percentage? Don't know. But I still do like him. Derek Jones with Kyrie maybe out, but with Josh Green definitely out, and Grant Williams maybe out. I think Kyrie definitely will be out as well. Derek Jones has that value. Dante Exum is behind him. I really want to see what they do with Seth Curry or Jaden Hardy, but I would look at Jones, I would look at Exum, or Jones, Hardaway, Exum as my ads in Dallas with 4 games on. Eric Gordon, we've mentioned his name just probably too many times already here. Nico Batum in the Sixers, 4 games there. And then Killian Hayes in the Pistons. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. Every game is an adventure for the Pistons. But Hayes at the moment, I was going to say seems impervious, although he did get perved. That's not the right word, but what the hell is the opposite verb of impervious? I don't know. But he got reduced a few weeks ago down to like 15 minutes. I went, he's on his way out of the rotation. But no. He's back to 30 minutes. Has it changed anything? Absolutely not. But it does change his fantasy value. So we'll see how he sits and where he goes there. But he's worth an ad. And what we do with Jaden Ivey and Asar Thompson remains a gigantic mystery. I am patient. I am holding. But I also understand that I would probably at this point drop Thompson over Ivey. Even though I've seen the upside of Thompson, there's something going on there. There's something very weird going on with that team, and it's annoying. And that is the Detroit Pistons experience in an absolute nutshell. And that, legends, is the end of today's show. Don't forget, what are we doing? What are we up to? It is Operation 70K. So hit the subscribe button if you are here on the old YouTube, and thumbs up, like, share. Audio-wise, if you haven't subscribed, amazingly, go and hit subscribe there as well. And again, if you're watching this on YouTube, we have an audio-only podcast, so you can go listen to this at any time when you're in the car. If you are watching on audio, we've got a YouTube show, lots of fancy graphics, and you get to see this mustache. It is all great synergy across both platforms. Watch them on both. It helps me a ton too. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.